Can everybody hear me all right? Yeah? Great. Nice to see some familiar faces. Okay, so my name is Maria Coulter. I am founder of Construction Coach and Solving Construction. And I'm just going to introduce the lovely people that we've got here on the panel, first of all. So we've got Tom Woodhead, who is founder of Limes Consulting, and he works with SMEs to help them embed digital solutions into their business, and you'll find out more about what he's been doing very soon. Next we've got Dennis Weeks, who's director of North Loft Rooms, and they deliver high quality loft conversions, remodels and new builds based in North London, as you would imagine with the name North London Loft Rooms, and the home counties as well. Yeah. We've got Catherine Poppett, who's director of Real Life Construction. They do high quality extensions, renovations and kitchens and bathrooms not far from here in Solihull. So, home representation. And we've also got Ellis Rust, who is co-founder of Loxley Services, and they deliver high quality kitchens in Milton Keynes. So, we're here to talk about how to solve tech for small builders. We've literally got about 25 minutes to solve tech for small builders. But I thought what I would do is share with you what we've been doing and the impact it's had, and also as a small builder in the audience where you can actually go to for support moving forwards. So, first thing to think about is, why do we need to solve tech? Well, I think this gives a good indication of the reason why we need to solve it. So, a couple of years ago, I got some CITB funding, and we did, it was a guide for SMEs and technology basically that was commissioned, and did some research into all the different types of tech that's available for SME builders. And you can see there's a lot, and this doesn't even cover all of it. I mean, I think there's obviously more that will have come on the market. There's probably a few of them that are here today. I think I saw Tradeify or about there on here as well. So it's really overwhelming, you know, if you're wanting to think about, well, I need to bring in new technology into my business, productive, I want to be more profitable, I want to have better performance from people, I want happier clients. You might think, right, okay, so I want to bring some new tech into my business, so where do I start? And that was where the course that we've just been doing, Solving Tech for Small Builders, comes in. So I'm a business coach. I've been working with small builders for about 10 years now. And one of the questions that I found that builders kept asking me was, so you're working with this builder over here, what tech are they actually using and how are they getting on with it? So I started to introduce builders to each other to talk about what they were using. But I just thought, we've got to do something more than that, because there are hundreds of thousands of small builders in the UK at the moment who need support with thinking about the right technology for the business. So what can we do about that? And last year I bid for the CITB Impact Fund, and off the back of that we have been delivering a programme called Solving Tech for Small Builders. We've got a few people in the audience today who've been through that pilot programme, and we've got some people on the stage who are going to share their experiences as well. But first of all, I'm going to ask Dennis a question. So Dennis very kindly put his name to the CITB Impact Fund bid because he's had quite a lot of experience with technology in his business and how it's improved profitability. So Dennis, if you were going to state a business case for somebody wanting to bring new tech into their business, what would you say to them?
100%. Can't look at it any other way. Most of the aspects of running a building company is trying to keep up with everything that's going on, trying to keep up with the work that you're delivering. When if you're working on multiple sites, trying to keep track of all the work that's being delivered and what you guys are doing, and how they're doing it, and what they're being told to do. Because that's the thing, is that you've got your workforce and suddenly you send them to do a certain job and they do that job, but they do 2 or 3 other jobs on top of that. The client said, could I do this or could I do that? essentially by having a system where you can track what you're doing, the instructions are very specific. You can get information to and from clients very quickly, and then you can price that work and get it agreed in writing and actioned immediately is essential for us. Once we instigate a system like that, we saw roughly about 30% growth in our turnover. So, a third. What it said to me was that we were doing a third more work for less money.
Yeah, so that obviously positively impacted on your profitability as well. Brilliant. So that's a good business case from a starting point of view of engaging with tech in your business. So I'm now going to ask Tom the question. So Tom, you've been leading the Solving Tech pilot program for the past 3 months. And what we've done on this program is we've taken a group of 50 builders on a journey to find the right tech for their business. And we've literally just had the last wrap-up session this morning, and we've had some fantastic feedback and some fantastic results, which we will be sharing on social media moving forward. But Tom, talk to me a bit about the content that you put together and why, and what we've covered over the past 3 months. 3 months. In a nutshell.
In a nutshell, okay. We've covered a lot, but we started with the basics, stripping away the technology, in fact. So we were looking at business improvement priorities, looking at gaps and issues in processes, or even if processes existed, where there was duplication of effort, and from that we then started to look at how do we prioritise the right things to work on and to focus on. How do we fix that manually before we look at bringing in tools such as all the things that we got on the screen there. So we went through a process really step by step before we even started to look at the different tech solutions. And then beyond that, we then started to look at some of the different solutions that were out there, talking to some of the vendors, looking at things like negotiation tactics, not just looking at what's presented and accepting it. So how do you get the best value for your business and make sure you get the right solution that's going to meet your needs and not just be sold on whatever the sales pitch is. And then beyond that, how do we embed it? And then we looked at continuous improvement, and how do you ensure that the cycle doesn't stop, that you continue to evolve as a business.
Okay, and I will give a little bit of an overview as well on some slides so you can see what we've covered. But from a starting point of view, I thought it would be interesting to hear from Catherine and Ellis, if you don't mind. So Catherine, do you mind sharing what started your Solving Tech journey 3 months ago? Where did you feel you were at as a business, and what sort of propelled you to want to get involved in the programme in the first place?
Yeah, so our business was very much at a crossroads in the sense that we wanted to create growth, we wanted to move forward, and when I looked into tech, it was very overwhelming. There was so much choice out there, and I think what the course has done is helped me break that down into a process in order to choose the right solution for us, because I think you can't take out technology on a whim, because I think it's bound to fail, and it has definitely shown me that a lot more consideration needs to be taken into it, because it's going to become a fundamental part of your business, and if you don't embrace change, then we are going to get left behind, because technology is advancing so quickly, and especially within this industry. So I would 100% recommend doing the course, because it has shown me there's so many different options out there, and options that I hadn't even really thought of, to be honest with you, as well. And there's also a great network of people and that can offer so much advice on what they're using and what hasn't worked and why hasn't it worked. And I think having that network of people just creates a community where you feel safe enough to put your views out there and help each other to be better.
Brilliant, thank you. And Alice, same question. So where were you at the start of your Solving Tech journey, and what propelled you to want to get involved?
Yeah, so our business is quite a young business, so we're still very much in that early growth stage, quite stable now, but always looking at ways that we can develop our business and grow to the scale that we want to be at. And I always thought, I'm quite tech savvy, feel like I implement a lot of tech in my business already. So I was curious to see what the course would offer beyond what I already knew. I have to say, coming into it, what Tom touched on, it's not just about implementing the tech, but also looking at your business as a whole, identifying where the gaps are, and then how can we leverage tech to actually fill those gaps and improve the business. And I have to say, I was really surprised actually about how much I've really learned going through the course. Not just general business concepts, but as well what technology is actually available out there. There's so many different solutions, and some of them can be quite nuanced. And this has really sort of helped me to navigate through that, look at the tech we're already using, and actually, where I thought I'd found a good solution for our business, I'm now even reevaluating that and probably looking to use some new systems now, which are much more suited to us and will grow with us as our business develops.
Okay, brilliant. So I'll give you a little bit of a run through of what we've been covering over the past 3 months. So we started thinking about the fact that you need to define your goals. So when you are going to bring some new technology into the business, quite often it can be easy. Like say if you come to a tech show or a show like this and you see somebody else might be using something and you think, right, I'll sign up for a trial and I'll see how I get on with that. But what we have done on this programme is got people to be really clear on their goals. And one of the key questions that we asked right at the very beginning is, what does professionalism mean to you? And thinking about your business and what you want it to look like. I mean, there are a heck of a lot of professional people in this room today, but unfortunately in our industry we do get a bit of a bad rap. So, you know, there's a lot to look at. So that was one of the first things we got people to think about, was what does professionalism mean to you? But also, more importantly, where are you losing money in your business? Where are you losing time? And where are you losing reputation as well? So those were key areas, because that's where you need to be focusing from a goals perspective, is to try and improve that. And then you can start to look at the tech side to see how that can support you with that. So yeah, it was definitely professional focused. Define goals was all about month 1. So month 2 was when we started to look at the options, and as you saw in that slide, there are a lot of options. But what we tried to do was sort of create some potential options that were suitable for business or for a small builder, because you know there might be some massive fancy project management systems that are out there at the moment, but they might not necessarily be suitable for your business. And that's why understanding your needs is so important. So then, you know, we've got people to think about what their needs are, and then we started to introduce what the solutions were. And we had like a day in London where we introduced people to all different types of technology, including AI, which was a big one. I'm sure we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. And then finally, this last month has been looking at how do you actually embed tech into your business. This could be such a big challenge because, you know, you might have a team of subcontractors, you might have a mix of some employees and subcontractors. How do you get subcontractors on board, for example, with technology? So understanding like how you can actually embed those solutions into your business is really important, because you know, you want people to use the tech that you're going to be spending the money on. So that's the kind of thing that we covered in the last month as well. And all about that whole continuous improvement. So, you know, it's only as good as the data that you put on, and I think a lot of people have realised that some of the stuff that they're using, they could be doing more with as well, for example. So that gives you an idea of, you know, what we've been covering over the past 3 months. And you know, the journey so far, we're going to talk a little bit about that now, but you know, £15,000 saved by one company just by streamlining subscriptions, you know, looking at what they've already got, what are they actually using, managed to save £15,000. That can be, you know, reinvested into your business, move forward on something else that works for you. So, what I'm going to ask now is just to get an update based on the fact that we've had a wrap-up session, and I'll come and sit with you again. So what impact do you feel that it's had on your business? So I'll ask you first, Dennis, because I know that you'd already invested in technology, but I think you definitely sort of got more out of this as well, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. we looked at technology some years ago and have been integrating that into the company without any sort of guidance, without anyone giving us a pointer. It was sort of very much a sort of throwing a sort of rod out there, seeing what it was about, and hopefully hooking a good solution. And we did get a solution. It wasn't particularly good at the beginning, but it's got better as we've understood it more and got more involved. But that's been quite a fairly slow journey, which works good in one way because it gives us time to integrate and get everyone used to it. But it's also bad in the other way because as you start to integrate more and you go, oh wow, this is brilliant, really making a difference. And then you're like, well, we should have been doing this 2 years ago. We should have been using that bit a year. So there's that part to it. But when you're a few years down the journey and you've got quite a bit integrated, you think, oh brilliant, we are really on fire now. Things are solving themselves. And then you go on a course like this and you've gone from having a mentality of we're 90% solved and I'm back down to about 15 because I've just seen all these other things that I need to add on to it and put into it, and the technology is changing all the time, and actually the software that we use, I'm just like now I feel more confident, more comfortable and understand more about how I need to integrate more of that, and the mistakes I was making that were slowing that integration down been pointed out to me in the course to say, listen, if you'd have looked at it in this fashion, if you'd have researched a bit more in this way, if you'd have made better plans about your integration, your implementation, your training, you could have delivered that much quicker. So for me, I've just got loads and loads of homework. I feel like a teenager again, but really excited about the possibilities of leaping forward, and we're probably 1 or 2 steps ahead of most. So I've been on the course, seeing all these guys. I'm looking over my shoulder going, I've really got to move because he's not moving even quicker than I can. So they're a bit younger.
Brilliant, thanks Dennis. Catherine, can I ask you a similar question just to see, where are you at now? How do you feel how do you feel about tech now and sort of starting to implement that into your business?
Yeah, I mean, we do have some tech in our business already, but I think it has shown the gaps and where they are. So I am definitely looking into filling those gaps and possibly, getting a system that can incorporate all of those processes into one, just because it will streamline everything and then everyone's singing from the same hymn sheet, so to speak. So I'm definitely still considering my options in regards to that, but I definitely feel more confident in how to make that choice and the process that I need to work through in order to do that, and especially with the integration as well, because I think that is one of the major hurdles that I was really worried about. As in, I think doing this course has shown me ways of doing that to help make it successful, and also how to monitor how successful it is in the business as well. So we're still on that journey, and I think it will be a continuous thing because tech is constantly moving, and I think we always need to check ourselves in regards to that, but I definitely feel more confident going forward.
Brilliant, thanks. And same question to you, Alex.
Yes, I'd say at this point we're probably 90% through our decision-making process now, so we've looked at all of our options. We've still got a little bit more research to do, but we're pretty certain on the technology that we're going to implement. And AI has been a big, obviously, focus that we've been discussing and different ways that we all use it on the course. And I've put in all of the software we plan to use, what we're using at the moment, all the numbers, and it's come back and produced me a figure that it's going to cost me about an additional 3.5% in terms of what we're spending now to implement, and in terms of what we will be spending when we implement all the new systems. But the benefits that we're going to get are absolutely huge. So it just goes to show that you're probably using a lot of things already. You've got subscriptions for this, subscriptions for that, but actually there's programs out there that probably can encompass all of that and do it a lot more effectively, and you don't need to necessarily spend any more money. So just doing the final sort of assessment that we should be moving forward with some new solutions that are really going to benefit our business.
Yeah, because one of the things about the course is it definitely makes you look at what you're already using right now. For example, Microsoft Copilot is something that a lot of people have started integrating into their business. So I mean, I must admit I didn't even know it existed, before I started with this program as well, so I definitely have learned a lot as well. I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about how you can get involved with Solving Tech, and then we're going to take some questions. So this has been a pilot program funded by the CITB Impact Fund, and part of that funding is to actually transfer all of the content that we've gone through over the past 3 months with a live sort of cohort into an online version. And this online version is going to be video-based content for people to work through in their own time. But more importantly, there will be a community that sits around that as well. So there'll be an opportunity to come along to live online sessions every fortnight. So there'll be like online Zoom calls where people can drop in. They can get support from us and also from fellow business owners as well on that journey. And there will be a WhatsApp group, so it is all about community, because that is a real key when you're looking to embed something new into your business. So if you wanted to click on the QR code, that'll take you to a landing page to sign up and just put your name on the list, and then when everything's available, which will be launched in September, we will be able to send out information so that you can join and you can get involved. But yeah, I mean, it's been a fantastic journey, and I should say as well, the course is all fully funded, it's all free. You don't have to be a levy payer to be part of the course. You just have to sign up because it's funded by the CITB. We've got that funding. You don't have to be a levy payer to get involved. So I thought I'd verify that as well. So we're going to open up for questions. If anybody's got any questions. Okay, we haven't got any questions so far. I'm just wondering if I might be able to put some people on the spot in the audience, if they mind, because I'd be interested to find from some of the people that we've got here how they're getting on with AI and what impact it's having on their business. So is anybody going to volunteer for that one? Yeah? Great. Anybody else want to jump in on AI, talk about their experiences? Yeah?
Sorry. So it's interesting for us that we've, so my background is AI, so I'm a tech leader in AI, I sold the company in AI, and actually I'm more of the install side. So it's quite the opposite. We've taken, we're an install business, so we do retrofit work for Eon, across government grants and before. So my journey's been the opposite, really coming from how can say now as an installer, typically Lex business, actually adopt an AI operating model, how can the human and machine work together. So that's kind of what we've done. We've got an AI operating model first, and we'll have a chat then afterwards, talk about kind of how we've embraced the friction across this industry, how we've navigated compliance, we're using AI to have photos, detection, automated workflows, pretty much our entire business is all connected in some way. So I'm just a proponent of sharing learning stuff like that as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. We definitely need to get your contact details because there's a heck of a lot. But that's it though, isn't it? Like people are doing all sorts of things and you don't know until you start to talk to people. So yeah, thanks for that. Tom, I just wanted to ask you, what's your experience been of taking people through the program, and what do you feel that people have, what are the patterns that you've seen, and what do you feel that people have gotten out of this experience, based on what you've just done?
I think it's been really varied, but I think that the general theme has been that massive sense of community and people feeding off one another, having the same issues, having the same understanding of the problems that they're facing and how they can kind of have the conversations. That's been something that's been, I think, unanimous across everybody in the course. One of the other things that surprised me though was the whole AI piece. I think when I came into it and we were writing the content for it, I'd almost put it on a back burner because I thought we'd just look at the basics, we'd look at some of the well-known kind of solutions that were out there and how those tools might complement businesses. And yet AI, as it's turned out, has been really easy for people to get on board with. They've been able to implement it in a whole raft of different ways. Obviously recently sort of shared some ideas of sort of prompt back things and things which people have started to use as I found out today. So I think that's quite surprised me is understanding that people were far more ready for that than I expected. But in terms of other themes that we've seen, there's been things around people understanding change management as a process, and not just being able to sort of drop a new solution in and hope that it sticks. Understanding that there is a sort of methodology to get it right and make sure that people embrace it. But even going right back to basics and the foundation stuff and understanding where the issues within the business actually are, stripping all the tech and everything else out of it. But if you were to do it manually, where are the choke points, where is the duplication, where are the issues, and where are people having to do things several times to get it right, before even actually looking at what tool's going to help achieve that.
Okay, and if you were going to give somebody some advice on, the start of their tech journey, what would you say to them?
Well, at the risk of kind of repeating myself a little bit, probably just to go right back to basics. Just look at everything that you're doing within the business and do that sort of walk of the whole process of how you deliver what you deliver, and pick out where the issues are, then prioritise them before you start looking at any of the sort of solutions that might be being kind of advertised and kind of marketed elsewhere. Because I think the important thing is to understand what your needs really are before you do anything else.
Yeah. Anybody else got any advice they want to share with people before we wrap up?
We work in the construction industry, which means we make things, we repair things, we take them down and build them back up better, basically. That's what we're trying to do. So technology is a tool in that process. It's a tool of bringing things together, linking things together, help to be more efficient, productivity, finances, everything. But you have to remember, it's the people who are doing the work, it's the people who are fundamental to the success of your company. And the hardest thing, I think, is linking those two things together. You're effectively trying to make a cyborg, and no one wants to be a cyborg. They just want to be it themselves, and they just want to do it the way they've always done it. I'm quite happy, leave me alone. But then when they adopt the technology and you convince them about the benefits and you show them the way and they're on board with it, they're the biggest advocates. They're like, this is great, this is brilliant, this works, made my life so much easier, and you have to resist that. I told you so. So that's it. Just keep the people at the core of what you're doing.
Okay. Well, I've been told that we're at time and we've got to wrap up, so I think that's probably some good advice to end on. I'd just like to say thank you to Ellis, thank you Catherine, thank you Dennis, thank you Tom. Thanks everybody for listening, and get on board. Love to have you on board when we start in September for the online course. So thanks everybody.